Boom, we are pre-recorded, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live this morning. Well, I'm alive at least, from Bali, Indonesia. I want to drop in and take a look at Bitcoin's price, Raven, and Flow. And I also want to lean into right now the current sentiment about listening to your gut. It is one of the largest sympathetic nervous systems that run between your brain and your body. And this growing and expanding body of research has said that the idea of listening to your gut is not just about some hippie thought process. There's actually a lot of real reasoning behind it, and with that in mind, that's why I want to keep Flow and Raven at the top of the list, as it has just broken out beneath its area. So I'm going to dive in. We're going to take a look at the charts here right now, and bam. Now, right now, we're going to start with Bitcoin. And as you can see, we've been following this triangle for quite some time, and our sentiments have not changed. One of the things I like about this is the idea that you really shouldn't want to change your analysis like the frequency of the wind changing. Since we hit $13,000, we have been very, very stable in the idea that we are going to around 7,700, maybe even lower now. It's looking the possibility of around 6,600. Now, I've mentioned this many, many times before. There's three potentials here, and for the private bear family members, you already know what these are. This could have been a B wave, which could bring us as low as $3,000 to $1,500. That's the least likely scenario that I am currently sitting on. The second and the most probable that I believe at this moment is the area of around 6,700 to 8,200, which is the simple 200 moving day average, as well as the simple 314 moving day average, currently sitting almost at exactly $6,660 for those of you that enjoy the beast's movements. Now, what I would like to again remind people is that your gut instinct is often right, and clearing your body and eating healthily retunes that idea and actually brings a much more stable group of focus to what you think is going to be coming. Learning how to listen to that and actually act on that gut feeling, that's a whole nother process and can take years and years of practice to go through. But this is also why we're going to go over Flow and Raven, right? So we have been watching Raven in the private bear group. For those of you that are not private members, I want to remind you that the private bear members have actually asked that we increase the price for them because they feel they get so much value out of it. And we also have seen that the people that don't understand the value that they're getting out of it probably just need I guess, like a push into actually investing. So for those of you that want to sign up, you can sign up until the new year and get grandfathered into the $30 a month price, which is fantastic because we're going to be raising it to $100 a month. And again, this is under the asking of the bear members to actually raise the price. We had people say, hey, why can't we pay for multiple years up front? So again, one of the understandings here is that investing in your own education means you need to put something on the line. Otherwise, with just free things, people don't usually do the work that's necessary. And we want to make sure that those people don't necessarily end up in this particular space because then they don't get what they need out of it, which is generally they think they're going to get some signals group, which is a get rich quick scheme that they can make a lot of money overnight. And anything, if you're going to become good at it, is going to take years of investment. So why not make sure that you know that the investment that you're putting into your own education is actually worth it? Anyways, that's the whole reasoning behind the raising of this price for those of you that might be wondering why people would want to pay more for something, because it shocked me a little bit too. But anyways, I think we're going to around 7,700 right at the bottom of this purple line here. This would actually indicate this lower downtrend and this channel that we are currently in. I'll actually highlight it here with a red line or a green line now so it's a little more clear because that purple line is dark. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I believe we're going to break down right between the 200 and 314 day simple moving average. Now I'm going to keep this video short today. What I want to do is take a look at Flow. For those, again, in the private bear family group, you already know why I think Flow is so important and its relationship to T0 and Raven as well. So as you can see, Flow is broken out of this descending wedge that we had been watching, not too dissimilar to the wedge that we were watching on Raven as well. They had actually had this parallel setup. Now last week when we touched the top of it around 468, I thought we would head back down, but it seems that the lowered liquidity in Flow, as you can only buy it on Bittrex and a few exchanges, has increased this run. Whereas with Raven, it's on Binance, you have a lot of speculation still. People are dumping because they don't necessarily understand the fundamental analysis that's taking place here. Whereas with Flow, so few people know about it that the fundamental analysis of whoever is buying in right now, they know what the potential of this token can be. Again, this sits in our baby Bitcoin platform, and that is explained in our private newsletter. So Flow has jumped up in the last 7 days alone, almost 80% at its peak this morning, at around 649 Satoshis, down from around 350 this morning. So as we roll into the 15-minute chart, our gap up above the descending wedge has actually become very noticeable in the third wave. And this is what I had anticipated Raven might do as well, although it does seem that the higher levels of liquidity and the larger levels of speculation have actually made Raven probably a delaying indicator. So the fact that we see Flow taking off right now from a very similar price point of Raven, and we know its relationship, well, for those of you that study do, this is extremely important to pay attention to because these work together, at least as far as I can tell. Again, there's no documentation telling us exactly what these do, but if you read between the lines and use your gut instinct, I think it becomes very obvious. So I had actually been accumulating Flow, as we said we had been in our long-term baby Bitcoins portfolio, but it had not been added to my trading and speculatory space, which are, again, two very different ways to project your assets in your portfolio. So when I'm trading, I actually trade with a smaller, significantly smaller amount of money because it's very easy to lose a lot of money very quickly. Again, this is also the reason why we bang day and night that native stop loss idea, because it is very easy to ruin a trading account, and most people for this case and point will lose money in their trading career to start off with. Again, this is why investing on the long term into the understanding becomes extremely important. Investing, on the other hand, I think the best way to go is just buy whenever you have the extra cash to put into some type of asset class, whether it's in the stock market, say buying CBD or pod companies, whatever might be the growing trend in that particular day is the best way that you can go. Anyways, we'll dive in. We'll take a quick look at Raven as well. As you can see, we've actually popped down back below the descending this descending wedge that we had been in. Again, what we're about to see right now is an extremely important area. If we do not break below this 200 and 314-day simple moving average, actually let's go to the day, so I am speaking coherently and correct. Again, yeah, so it's actually right on top of the 21 simple moving average on the daily right now. A very, very important spot. If we do break this now, which it looks like we might, as we can see the eagle's nest has actually broken down, so the velocity is actually headed downwards. I likely looking at around 270, and again, the correlation back into building this descending wedge becomes more apparent. When we look here on the daily, we can tell that we didn't actually fully break out of this wedge yet, and this is an important area. Again, we've hit the top of this multiple times. But the relationship right now between Flow and Raven, I think, is that Flow is going to be that leading indicator because of the lack of understanding of what the hell it can do and its relationship to these growing platforms. Anyways, we'll leave it like that. If you like this content, give us those thumbs up. If you want to join our free newsletter, you can go to arcanebear.com. You can sign up. We send out as much free, valuable content as humanly possible to everyone. You can also join us on Facebook, all those fun areas, Telegram, blah, 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 blah. If you would like to sign up and get grandfathered into the $30 a month price for the membership, you can pay a year up front as well and get an even higher discounted rate. You will be grandfathered in and forever get that cheaper price. And as again, I have said earlier in this video, we're going to be raising that simply because we desire the people that are willing to invest in their education and understand the importance of being invested into this space. For those of you that signed up and left over a month, you have, I'm sorry, you missed out on some of the understandings and the points in this. Again, watching Flow, we wrote back about 2.5, 3 months ago, I think in the June newsletter. Again, these are jam-packed with value so much that you could go back and read every single one and get more value out of it. So technically, if you sign up this month, you get access to all of the previous value that we created. And that's besides the point. The real indicator here is that understanding the depth of value and the time that it takes to watch some of this stuff play out is extremely important. So as we can see here, Raven, right, descending wedges, and then Flow. We'll just leave it off with this too. A very nice descending wedge over the last month or two as well. Not too dissimilar. Obviously, we see the smaller versions of these fractals, and then their breakouts. So this could be a huge breakout point for Flow. So we are going to be watching very, very, very closely as the 200 and 314-day simple moving averages are up somewhere near around around 1,000 satoshis, which is equivalent to another 100% run from where we are right now. Stu with the Arcane Bear, I'm signing off for the rest of the day. I hope you guys have yourselves a fantastic, enjoyable time. Remember to tell your loved ones that you love them because, well, it's important. Life's short and we all die. See you guys on the other side.